Apocalypse. Survival. What if the world ended? Season 1. Deep Woods Protocol. A slow burn horror thriller with reality TV vibes that spirals into horror thriller level mutant cannibal carnage. A motorhome freight line somewhere, in the Pacific Northwest backcountry. No cell service, no roads, just dense old-growth forest, a single river, and the base camp. Three military-style tents, a fire pit, 1 week's worth of rice, beans, a machete, fishing line, and a flare gun. The producers told them, it's all controlled, hidden cameras, everywhere. This is the real deal, they said. But remember, it's still TV. Host Sam steps out first wearing a cap, green t-shirt stretched over a dad bod that's actually strong, from years of guiding hunts. He's grinning, but his eyes are steel.
All right, you beautiful disasters. 7 days. No rescue unless the flare goes up. Show us what you'd do if the world actually ended. Cameras are rolling. Kevin's your shadow.
Kevin the cameraman, backpack rigged, perpetual half smile, already has the red camera up on his shoulder.
Just pretend I'm a tree, guys. I'm here to film the glory, not join the circle jerk.
The 12 contestants unload. Brian the shirtless already, tattoos gleaming with fresh sweat flexes. For the lens, necklace of shells, clinking.
This is cute. I benched 315. I got a shelter in 20 minutes.
Christy, his girlfriend of 8 months, white tank top, long black hair. She laughs softly and slips an arm around his waist.
Babe, be nice, we're a team.
She's the peacemaker. Big doe eyes, a gentle voice, the one who already packed extra socks for everyone. Anjali wears a black crop top and glossy lips, the only one in full makeup. She eyes Brian slowly.
I like a man who knows how to handle big logs.
Christy's smile tightens, but she says nothing. Zane, the blonde, wind-blown hair, hiking pack is already scanning the tree line, like he's been here before.
River's that way. We fish at dawn. We eat like kings.
Jessica, wearing beanie, Patagonia fleece, quiet smirk. She bumps his shoulder.
Bet I outfish you, mountain boy.
Instant spark. They've been trading shy glances since the motorhome. Harry, the sunglasses guy, black button-up, folds his arms.
We need a chain of command. I'll handle strategy.
Rob, the light blue power suit. She refuses to change out of. She nods.
I'll keep the log. I'll keep the log. This is basically a board meeting with mosquitoes.
Carl, purple polo, already holding 3 energy bars like burritos. He grins.
As long as someone else cooks, I'm the morale officer and the snack bitch.
Ting, the backpacker, white tee, big hoop earrings. She's filming everything on her own little GoPro.
This is wild. I've trekked in Laos. We'll be fine.
Dwayne, wearing white tee, shell necklace, beach stare. He says nothing, just nods once and starts sharpening a stick. Lone wolf. Marley, wearing Tommy Hilfiger shirt but relaxed, lean. He chuckles.
Y'all are already stressing. It's day 1.
Paul, the black hoodie boy, silver necklace. He sits on a log, eyes distant.
We're being watched, not just by cameras.
Sam claps.
Teams of 3 for first challenge. Build a proper debris hut before dark. Go.
2 to 3. The slow simmer, tension and romance build. Camp life feels almost fun at first. Brian and Christy share one tent. Everyone can hear them at night. Soft giggles. The bed creaks again and again. Christy lets out quiet moans, thinking no one can hear her. Outside, Kevin records through the flap, whispering to the mic.
Young Love in the Apocalypse, ratings gold.
But Anjali is working. Day 2, while Christy's off with Ting and Jessica collecting berries, Anjali sees Brian chopping wood. She accidentally brushes, her breasts against his arm, and leans closer, whispering,
You know she's sweet, but sweet girls don't fuck like they mean it.
Brian laughs it off, but his eyes linger. Zane and Jessica are the opposite. Innocent, slow burn, they fish together at dusk. Zane shows her how to tie a proper knot. Jessica teases him about his pretty boy hair. One night by the fire, they end up shoulder to shoulder under the same blanket. No sex yet, just fingers brushing, long looks, the kind of tension that makes Kevin zoom in. Harry keeps trying to control everyone. Marley pushes back in a calm, relaxed way. Carl still makes burrito jokes, even though they only have plain rice. Rob and Paul quietly bond while talking about strategy. She likes his calm, focused nature. Dwayne is gone for hours. When he returns, he has 3 big fish. No one knows where he got them. Sam watches it all, proud but still careful.
You're doing better than I expected, but remember, this is still pretend. The real world ended. You'd be dead in a week.
Day 4. The producers sent a radio message. Bonus challenge. Hike 3 miles north to an old fire tower to get extra supplies. This will be a big moment for ratings, they added. They go farther than planned. The trail markers are gone, the trees are thicker and twisted. Weird symbols appear on the trunks. Half human, half something else. Kevin keeps filming.
This is getting creepy as hell, but the light is insane.
That night, they make camp in a small clearing. Brian keeps looking at Angeli sitting across the fire with her knees up, the firelight shining on her. Angeli stretched, letting her tank top lift slightly.
It must be nice having a partner. Me, I'm alone, but I don't mind sharing some warmth.
She looked straight at Brian when she said it. Christy's smile faded for a moment. Brian moved in his seat and looked at Christy across the fire, then looked away. He gave a small, awkward smile, trying to stay casual, but the attention was bothering him.
I think we're running low on firewood.
Brian got up too fast. He rubbed his hands together like he just remembered something important. Before things could get any more obvious, and Marley stood up too.
I'll come with you.
Marley moved away from the group. Brian nodded quickly, relieved, and the two of them went into the dark, leaving the fire and tension behind. Angeli watched Brian walk into the dark, her eyes lingering longer than they should. The firelight shone in her eyes, but she wasn't really paying attention.
Wait, I think I left my phone over there.
While Brian and Marley was splitting firewood, Angeli accidentally brushed against Brian as she handed him an axe.
You're strong for a lawyer,
She murmured, voice low enough that only he heard.
but you're good with your hands in other ways too.
Brian let out a quick laugh, shaking his head as he got back to splitting the wood. Marley raised an eyebrow, watching Angeli disappear into the trees.
Didn't know we had company.
Marley smirking. He nudged Brian lightly.
Lawyer, huh? Looks like you've got more than one case to handle tonight.
Brian rolled his eyes, trying to play it off.
Shut up and pass me another log.
That night, once Christy was inside the shelter, Brian said he was going to check the perimeter. Angeli slipped away 5 minutes later. They didn't go far, just far enough that the firelight was a distant glow. Against a mossy tree trunk, Angeli pulled Brian in by his shirt.
Your girlfriend's sweet, but I bet she doesn't do this.
She leaned close and whispered in his ear. Her hand moved down his chest, then lower. Brian groaned, guilt and lust fighting on his face for about 3 seconds. Before lust won, he hiked her skirt up, pinned her against the bark, and fucked her hard and fast. Quiet, frantic, the kind of cheating sex that feels like a confession and a crime at the same time. Angeli bit his shoulder to stay silent, nails digging into his back, and when she came, she whispered,
Tell me you'll do it again tomorrow.
Brian didn't answer, but he didn't say no. Christy noticed the dirt on his jeans the next morning. She said nothing, but the tension around the fire that night was thicker than the smoke. They wake to see the fire tower has collapsed on purpose, and there are footprints, huge, bare, and twisted. The first trap hits. Carl steps on a bear trap hidden in the leaves. The metal clamps his calf. He screams. Before they can free him, 3 figures burst from the trees, mutated, inbred forest dwellers, isolated, deformed, and extremely violent. Mutant cannibals. They're not actors, this is real. First death, Carl. A cannibal, bigger and uglier, pulls the trap and drags him into the brush. Wet, tearing sounds echo. Kevin shakes as he films everything.
Oh God, this isn't the show.
Panic, they run! The slaughter. Paul, the quiet one, tries to get them to higher ground. A tripwire snare flips him upside down into a tree. The cannibals skin him alive while he's still dot conscious, slicing slow, deliberate strips. Kevin keeps the camera rolling until Paul stops screaming. Rob, the one in charge, tries to get everyone into a defensive circle. A cannibal woman hits her from behind and drags her off. Later, they see her impaled over a fire, still moving as the mutants roast and eat her alive. Marley, the chill one, fights with a branch to give the others time. A cannibal buries a rusty axe in his head. It's fast, almost merciful compared to the rest. Dwayne, the lone wolf, fights like a Rambo. He kills a cannibal, stabbing it through the eye with his sharpened stick. The pack overpowers him. They castrate him, then eat him. Slowly while he's alive, and the group has to watch from hiding. Harry, trying to act like a leader, pleads as if it's still a game. They laugh, wet and guttural, then hang him from a tree with his own intestines. He dies slowly over hours. Ting, the traveler, runs carefully, using the terrain to her advantage. She nearly escapes, but a bear trap catches her. They impale her head with a sharpened femur, cut her throat, and harvest her meat for later. Angeli, the seductive slut, screams for Brian to save her. A cannibal rips her top off, bites into her breast like it's steak, then they take turns while she's still alive. Brian watches from the bushes, paralyzed. Brian thinks he goes berserk, injured a cannibal with the machete. Then the alpha cannibal tackles him, breaks his back, and forces Christy to watch while they peel Brian's face off. Christy's screams are the worst sound of the night. Christy, the heart of the group, goes catatonic after Brian dies. A cannibal hurls an axe at her. Her empty eyes look straight at Zane and Jessica. Zane and Jessica ran through the trees, lungs on fire, branches cutting their skin. Ahead, an old mine shack appeared, rotting wood, broken windows, but shelter.
Go!
Jessica gasped. They were only a few steps away when a rusty axe whistled past Zane's face close enough to feel the wind, then hit a tree behind them. Zane froze. Jessica screamed.
Run back!
They turned, but it was too late. A huge figure jumps out of the trees. A fist swings out of nowhere. Zane dropped instantly, the world going black before he even hit the ground.
Zane!
Jessica shrieked. 2 more figures ran at her. Rough hands covered her mouth, silencing her screams as she thrashed and kicked. But it was no use. They dragged her into the darkness, her cries fading into the forest. Zane didn't move. Another pair of hands grabbed him, lifting his limp body like dead weight, and just like that, the forest swallowed them both. Kevin stays to film. A cannibal rips the camera from his hands and smashes his skull with it. Sam stopped the Jeep at the end of the old fire road. The tires sank into the mud. He got out, his boots sinking into the ground. The air smelled wet and rotten. It was too quiet. No birds, no squirrels. Something moved. Not close. Maybe 200 yards down, where the trees thinned into a small clearing. Something moved. Dark, then gone. Sam narrowed his eyes. Maybe a deer. Maybe a contestant going back early. He stayed still and listened. There it was again. Something tall. Too tall for a deer. It stood still between 2 large trees, partly hidden by moss, watching the Jeep, watching him. Sam stayed calm. He'd seen worse in these mountains. He turned his back on the figure and walked to the Jeep. He opened the back and reached for the locked case under the seat. No hurry. Inside there was a sharp pocket knife and a Glock 19, already loaded and anything he could use. He put the knife on his waistband, but then a faint creak echoed somewhere behind him. Sam froze. Slowly, he looked up. Through the cracked windshield deep in the trees, a figure stood perfectly still, watching. A young cannibal, bow drawn. Sam's breath hitched. The arrow slammed into the window, spider webbing, the glass inches from his face. He stumbled back, crouched, and tried to run, but froze. Someone was behind him. Sam barely reacted before the punch hit. He collapsed limp into darkness. Zane groaned, pain bringing him back. His vision was blurry, then slowly focused. That's when he realized he couldn't move. Rough ropes dug into his wrists and ankles. Beside him, Jessica stirred weakly, her face pale, eyes heavy with fear and exhaustion. Their friends and what was left of them hung and lay scattered around the clearing. The firelight moved over blood and bones. One cannibal cut into a body with slow swings. Another turned meat over the fire like it was normal. Jessica let out a broken sob, tears streaming down her face. Zane clenched his fists against the ropes, jaw tightening, rage and horror mixing in his chest, but there was nothing he could do. They could only watch and wait. Sam's eyes snapped open to the world inverted in hell. He hung upside down, thick ropes biting into his ankles and wrists, his body swaying slightly like a slab of meat in a butcher's shop. Blood rushed to his head, throbbing in his temples. Nearby, a cannibal bent over a grindstone, the sound of metal scraping echoing in the dark cabin. The cannibal had a hunched, crooked back. Its muscles looked uneven, lumpy, and rough. Sam looked over and saw Christy in an old armchair. Her body was pale and slumped in the seat. He tried to stay calm and looked around for something he could use. Time passed slowly. Then the cannibal stood up with a knife and a rusty bucket. He set it under Sam, ready to catch the blood. The moment the cannibal leaned in close, too close, Sam exploded into motion. With all his strength, he twisted and slammed his tied hands up into the cannibal's groin. The man cried out and bent over, backing away in pain. In the chaos, the small knife in Sam's waist slipped out and dropped. Sam reached out and grabbed it before it hit the floor. The cannibal recovered fast, snarling as he lunged again with murderous intent. Sam acted fast. He swung the knife, cutting the cannibal's arm and chest. Blood burst out. The creature roared and stepped back, giving Sam time. Hanging upside down, his head pounding and vision blurry, Sam twisted and sawed at the rope on his ankles. The rope started to break. With one last hard pull, it snapped. He hit the ground hard. Pain spread through his shoulders and back, but he could still move. Sam rolled to his side and started cutting the ropes on his wrists. The knife was slippery and his hands felt numb. One strand broke, then another. He was almost free. A guttural roar exploded behind him. The cannibal charged like a wounded animal, eyes full of rage. Blood ran down his chest and arm, but it only made him more dangerous. He crashed into Sam and pinned him before he could cut the last rope. Sam stabbed up one last time, deep into the cannibal's throat. It gurgled, eyes wide, trying to grab him as blood poured out. After a few shakes, it went still and collapsed. Panting, covered in sweat and someone else's blood, Sam shoved the corpse aside and staggered to his feet. His legs still felt like rubber from hanging upside down, but adrenaline kept him moving. He knelt by Christy. She slumped in the old armchair, hair covering her face. Sam's hands trembled as he touched her cheek and shoulder.
Christy,
he whispered, his voice soft and cracking. He thought she was only unconscious. The blow to her head must have knocked her out. Nothing more. He gently lifted her chin with his bloody fingers, tilting her face toward him. Her eyes were open, wide, glassy, and completely empty. No light, no recognition, no life. Sorrow hit Sam like a wall. His throat tightened and tears blurred his eyes, but he wouldn't let them fall. He stared, the horror of the last hours crashing over him. She had been alive just hours ago, laughing, breathing, trusting him to keep her safe in these woods. But it was too late, she was gone. Sam swallowed and clenched his jaw. He couldn't stay here. More of them were out there, He could almost feel them, watching the cabin. Morning would have to wait. He gently closed Christie's eyes, his hand staying there for a moment. Then he forced himself to move. Sam took the knife from the cannibal's throat and wiped it on his shirt. He spotted his gun on the floor and picked it up, quickly checking it. Half full. Good enough. He took the cannibal's shotgun from the wall. He pumped it, loading a shell with a loud shuck-shuck. The sound helped him steady himself. He put extra shells in his pockets and kept the knife. Then he looked around the room for anything useful. A flashlight, ammo, anything that could help him. His hands no longer shook. Grief had hardened into something colder, something sharper. Sam knew more cannibals were out there. They would come back soon. He wouldn't be easy prey anymore. He was ready. Sam stepped out of the cabin into the dark forest, holding the shotgun, his Glock tucked at his waist. His heart pounded in his chest as he moved. Every snapped twig under his boot sounded loud like a gunshot. After a few long, scary minutes, he found it. A ruined house deep in the forest. Even from outside, it smelled of blood and rot. He crept closer and peered through a broken window. Inside was terrifying. Hooks hung from the ceiling. Tables were covered in dried blood, and knives, cleavers, and saws lay everywhere. This wasn't a home. It was a slaughterhouse. Sam's stomach turned. He gripped the shotgun tighter and slipped inside through a side door and moving as quietly as he could. Then he heard it, the soft creak of floorboards. A cannibal stepped from a back room in tattered clothes and worn boots, holding a bow with an arrow ready. He sniffed the air like a hunting dog. Sam felt a chill. He ducked behind a blood-covered counter as the cannibal turned. The smell of sweat, blood, and fear stuck to him. There was no hiding it. The cannibal moved forward slowly, arrow ready, eyes focused on the trail. Sam's heart pounded. He stayed low, knife in one hand, Glock in the other, trying to move quietly. His foot brushed a loose bone. It made a soft clatter. The cannibal turned toward the noise, lifting his bow. Sam's heart raced. He jumped from behind a hanging carcass, knife ready. The cannibal tried to turn, but Sam plunged the knife into his lower back. The man roared and stumbled, the bowstring snapping. The arrow flew into the ceiling. Sam didn't give the cannibal a chance. He pressed the Glock to the back of the man's head and fired. The gun went off loud in the small space. The cannibal's head snapped forward. He fell, the bow clattering to the floor. Sam froze, ears ringing, chest heaving, smelling gunpowder and blood. His hands shook. That was too close. One mistake, and the arrow would have hit him. He swallowed hard, wiped the knife on the dead man's pants, and scanned the slaughterhouse again, listening for any other movement. Sam quickly heard shouting in the distance. Angry voices echoed from deeper inside. Footsteps crunched on gravel and leaves. It sounded like two cannibals grabbing weapons and rushing toward him. That was his chance. Sam moved into the shadows, heart pounding, weaving through hooks and blood-covered tables. The two cannibals left Zane and Jessica alone, at least for the moment. Sam looked down from above and saw Zane and Jessica on the first floor. Their hands and feet were tied, backs against opposite walls. They looked pale, tired, and barely awake. He stayed low, listening for the approaching footsteps, and crept toward them.
Zane, Jessica,
Sam whispered. Jessica raised her head weakly. Her eyes were empty, not focused. She looked like she had lost hope. Sam went to her first and cut at the ropes on her wrists. They were tight and tough.
Stay alert.
He breathed as the last knot gave way.
Can you move? We're getting out.
She nodded and rubbed her wrists, but her arms stayed limp. He moved to Zane. The ropes came off quicker. Zane took a sharp breath as feeling came back to his hands. As the last rope broke, heavy boots thudded in the hallway. Two cannibals charged through the door. One had a double-bit axe, the other a jagged knife. They stared at the freed prisoners.
Shit,
Sam hissed.
Go! Both of you! Run!
Zane shook his head, grabbing a loose dot cleaver from the nearest table.
Not leaving you.
Jessica struggled to stand. She grabbed a rusted pipe, hands shaking. The three of them faced the cannibals in the cramped, blood-slick room. It wasn't clean, it wasn't heroic. The cannibal with the axe swung first. Sam dodged and shot him in the shoulder. He spun and howled but stayed standing. Zane slashed with the cleaver, cutting the forearm deep. Jessica hit the other man's legs with the pipe, breaking bone with a thud. For a few seconds, they were winning. The injured cannibal stumbled, blood pouring out. Sam thought they could finish it. Then it went to hell. The second cannibal tackled Zane, knife up. Jessica screamed and tried to help, but he hit her hard, knocking her down. Sam turned, but the first cannibal grabbed him from behind, crushing his chest.
Run!
Sam shouted, voice strained.
Get out of here, now!
Zane hesitated, eyes wide with panic.
Go!
Sam roared. Zane took Jessica's arm and they ran for the side door, disappearing into the woods. Sam was alone with the two of them. Sam elbowed the first cannibal's wounded shoulder. The man howled and let go just enough for Sam to break free. He spun and stabbed him in the throat. Blood poured over Sam's hand. The man shuddered, then fell. The second cannibal, hit in the leg, froze for a second, staring at his fallen partner. Then he screamed. No pain, no fear, just pure animal rage. Tears ran down his grimy face as he charged, knife up, limping but unstoppable. His scream bounced off the walls, wild and broken. Sam raised the shotgun, but the cannibal was already too close, too fast in his fury. He charged straight at him, with no hesitation and nothing left to lose. They slammed into each other. The cannibal pushed Sam back into a bloody table. Tools dropped to the floor. Sam hit his injured leg with a knee, but the man howled and head-butted him in the nose. It broke. Blood covered Sam's face. They struggled on the floor, rolling in blood. The cannibal reached for Sam's eyes. Sam bit his ear and tore it. The man roared and hit Sam's ribs twice with his elbow. Sam's vision went blurry. He slashed the cannibal's chest, but the man caught his wrist and twisted until he dropped the knife. Then the hunting knife came out. The cannibal stabbed him in the side, under the ribs. The pain was sharp and blinding. Sam gasped as the blade twisted. Blood filled his mouth, making it hard to breathe. He tried to push him away, but he was getting weaker with each beat of his heart. The cannibal laughed through his tears, a wet, broken sound. He pulled the knife out and rushed behind Sam. Before Sam could react, he jumped on his back, his knees pressed into Sam's spine. He wrapped rusted barbed wire around Sam's neck. The cannibal yanked it tight. The barbed wire cut into Sam's neck. His skin tore and blood ran down his chest. He choked as it tightened. Blood filled his mouth and spilled out. Sam tried to pull at the wire, but the barbs cut his hands. His legs kicked, but nothing worked. The room grew dark at the edges. The cannibal leaned in close, breath hot and foul against Sam's ear, still sobbing with rage. Sam's mouth worked, fighting for one last breath. Blood poured between his teeth. His voice came out raw, wet, barely more than a gurgle, but the words were clear.
You inbred pieces of shit.
He gasped, blood spraying with each word.
I hope you choke on me.
His body shook once, then he stopped moving. The cannibal didn't let go even after Sam was still. He rocked a little, crying over his dead brother, while Sam's blood spread across the floor. The cannibal stayed crouched over Sam's out body for only a few seconds longer, chest heaving, tears still cutting through the blood on his face. Then he heard the crunch of footsteps fading into the dark woods outside, the other two running. He got up slowly, holding the axe in his bloody hand. His leg gave once, pain shooting from the broken bone, but rage pushed him on. He muttered, voice rough. He limped out into the trees. They'd only gone 50 yards when heavy footsteps crashed after them. Jessica's legs trembled, barely keeping up. Zane pulled her behind a thick log, and they hit the wet ground. They stayed silent, breathing through their mouths, listening. The cannibal stopped 10 feet away and sniffing the air, head turning slowly. Moonlight glinted off the axe. Zane's eyes darted around. No weapons. Nothing but dirt, leaves, and a couple of jagged rocks half buried in the mud. He nudged one toward Jessica with his foot. She nodded once, fingers closing around it. The cannibal took another limping step closer. Zane exploded up first. He slammed into the man's bad leg like a linebacker, shoulder first. The cannibal howled and toppled sideways, axe swinging wild. Zane felt the blade slice across his forearm, but didn't let go. He drove his weight down, pinning the injured leg under him. Jessica scrambled around behind them. She brought the rock down hard on the cannibal's axe hand. Once, twice. Bones cracked. The axe fell into the leaves. The cannibal screamed and bucked, throwing Zane off. He grabbed Jessica by the hair and yanked her down, but she twisted and jammed the sharp edge of the rock into his already shattered shoulder. He roared in pain and let go. Zane lunged back in, wrapping both arms around the cannibal's thick neck from behind in a rear choke. He squeezed with everything he had left, legs locking around the man's waist. The cannibal thrashed, clawing at Zane's arms, blood from his shoulder making everything slick. Jessica didn't hesitate. She crawled forward on her knees and started smashing the rock into the cannibal's face. Cheek, nose, mouth, over and over. Each hit was wet and ugly. The man's my struggles grew weaker, more frantic, until finally his hands dropped. Zane kept the choke locked tight until the cannibal stopped moving completely. Even then, he held on another 10 seconds just to be sure. When it was over, the three of them lay, tangled on the forest floor. 2 living, 1 dead, breathing hard in the cold evening air. Blood soaked the leaves around them. Jessica dropped the rock like it burned her hand and started crying without sound. Zane slowly unwrapped his arms. His forearm was bleeding freely from the knife cut, but he didn't care. They had killed the last one. Zane helped Jessica to her feet. Neither of them looked back toward the cabin house. They just held on to each other and kept walking deeper into the woods, 2 shadows slipping between the trees until the darkness swallowed them completely. Zane wiped blood from his eyes with the back of his hand.
We have to keep moving.
Jessica nodded once, wordless. She took his arm and they limped deeper into the trees, following the faint path they had taken hours earlier when everything still felt like a normal camping trip. 20 minutes later, they stumbled out of the woods onto the narrow dirt road. Sam's Jeep sat exactly where he had left it the day before, parked crooked, under a low-hanging branch. The keys were still in the ignition. Sam had always been the careful one about that. Zane helped Jessica into the passenger seat. She curled up against the door, knees to her chest, staring at nothing. He climbed behind the wheel, started the Dodge engine, and the familiar rumble filled the cab like a small, ordinary miracle. Neither of them spoke as the truck rolled forward, headlights cutting twin yellow tunnels through the black woods. The road was empty. No other headlights, no footsteps behind them. Zane's cut forearm throbbed against the steering wheel, blood slowly soaking his sleeve. Jessica's quiet sobs had turned into soft, exhausted breaths. The radio stayed off. The only thing playing was the crunch of gravel under the tires and the low growl of the engine. They drove like that for miles, the horror slowly shrinking in the rearview mirror, until the trees gave way to open highway. Somewhere behind them, the cabin house and the bodies and Sam's last bloody words were already being swallowed by the dark. Zane glanced once at Jessica. She met his eyes for half a second, then looked away. They kept driving toward home, and they never looked back.
the only thing that slowly stops the ache. But it's made